Welcome back to Wook Plus. I am Weekend Wook, joined by Kev the Great Went. Holy simple Kev, what a show. What'd you think about that?
I really after the first set, I was thinking the first set was better than last night's first set. Not sure I'm still there, but
Well,
the simple fantastic. I liked a lot of it. I really liked a lot of it. I
yeah.
can't say it was better than last night, and I want to.
I think parts of it were certainly better. I don't know if the whole package I enjoyed more, and I mean that's all subjective anyway. I think this simple jam is the obviously the best jam of tour. I think the best jam of tour. Not just because of the length, but all the modulations, all of that. And we'll talk about that when we get there. But you know, yeah, I'm with you. It's right there. Both so far Alpine is blowing everything else out of the water. It's just been
Right.
one
Well,
hell
they
of
have
a
5 shows to warm up too.
yeah. Which bodes really well for the rest of the tour. If you're sitting there with like Bethel tickets or Mondegreen or something, you got to be feeling pretty good because they've been on a pretty.
If you have Grand Rapids tickets, since nobody's buying them, I bet they throw
That's
down.
going to be a hell of a show.
Rapids. That's where the Tweezers going to show up next, I think.
Yeah, probably. Let's get into this first set. Another standard, nice straightforward opener, but it did its job and got things kicked off in a really traditional sense.
I'm a fan. I like Sample.
Yeah, I think I've probably said this before, but hey, Dave, wait, Dave was already a member. Well, he's a member again. Welcome. I thought Dave was. Sample's probably the fishiest, like the most traditionally fish sound in my ear, right? Like maybe next to like Yem, but like it is like the very traditional fishy sound. So I think it works well.
I do.
And we got
Halley's. All right. Halley's, if you don't know the words, just hang out for a minute and you'll learn them.
I mean, it was pretty cool though. I enjoy this song.
Solid Halley's, solid. But I guess the thing is, you never know what you're going to get with Halley's. This one, it felt like they were almost there. Like they were going to kick it in and it was going to completely open up, and they pulled it back in and got out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it was still early in the 2 spot in the first set, which it's not, does not preclude it from being taken out, but I think it was still enough for me. And especially since it went into this ripping birds. And I know it wasn't a very long birds, but you were
happy.
Notes,
you were happy with the beginning, because I know you're big on the beginnings of the birds.
Yeah, I was. I mean, it's never going to be perfect, and I think maybe you guys have helped me realize that, but I think it was pretty damn close. And it wasn't the fastest birds I've heard, but I don't know if you could say birds or birds of a feather or feather. I don't know what the shorthand is. Both.
I call it birds because
I call it birds too, but then there's another song, The Birds, but
The Birds. Well, that would be The Birds.
The Birds. The Birds. The Bird.
I did. Now, did you feel like it was different at all? I felt like Trey was playing the song differently.
I thought it was rehearsed. I thought it was clean. And like
Maybe
those were the parts. It sounded like the actual parts. Because if you listen to any of these,
they played it the right way.
I think so. Because like I know some nerds gonna be like actually looking at the parts and breaking it down and be like, no, you're way wrong. This was just my thought in the moment. But like if you listen to Birds of a Feather on isolation, each of the individual parts doesn't sound like the song, right? This is very much in that like cow funky 4 parts make a whole mentality, right? And so like I think it kind of harbored back to that and was a very clean version of it. And man, was it ripping. Like it felt like it got faster and faster and faster, but held together, and I really liked it.
Not sure about Mountains right here. Only because if you look at it, okay, they did play 3 songs, but they'd only played like what, 21 minutes?
Not even, 24 minutes.
I mean, it's very, very pretty playing when he does the solo in it. It's very gentle, and it's really good work on his part. It just, I don't know. I was like, pumped up from Birds of a Feather, and then they picked back up with Foam. It felt like it was a missed beat in the middle or something.
I guess, well, if you weren't feeling Birds either, see, like, I think that warranted a slight cool off. Now, the cooldown ended up being as long as the heat, so that's kind of like, a little bit
I
off.
don't feel like we were that hot yet.
I thought it was pretty hot. Well, I don't know.
The
I'm not gonna
Foam was
argue with you.
very
I mean,
nice.
it didn't bother me that much, but I could see where you're coming from. I was very, very happy to get the foam though. I think we were talking about that last night or recently, how I was looking forward to it and felt it would fit well. And again, this has been a theme that we've been talking about, but it was another one that when I was listening to it felt like alive and fresh, right? Like that it wasn't just regurgitating some old shit, like that they were still playing it, with some energy. So
Right. I want to send a shout out to Mike. He was in particular for me shining through that version. Maybe it was they just had him dialed in the sound right for that song, but he really stood out to me. Like he was, as you were saying, had the fresh take on it.
yeah, for sure. And then Moonage Daydream is an awesome cover. I'm so glad after that Halloween that it's gotten into rotation somewhat. One of those songs that, like, when Trey hits, works really well.
I've
But
always wanted Moonage Daydream to be Ziggy Stardust, but that's just me.
yeah, no, that's fair.
Or 5 years. 5 years is a slow one. See, that would have to be your slow song, but it's probably one of my favorite Bowie songs.
Yeah.
Did you see what
good.
Scotty B posted?
What?
About it's the first time that David Bowie has been played in a set where they did a David Bowie cover.
Oh, that's an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah.
Glad we have people like that out there giving us these types of stats.
I wonder if he was flipping a desk during that simple.
Probably. I mean, we're kind of going fast through this set, but like if
Right.
we're being honest, the second set and that simple.
The second set's where the meat is, yeah. My Soul, I love My Soul, and
Me too.
I don't care what anybody says.
Same thing. Fuck the haters. I mean, it's a fun, simple, bluesy dance party, and
It's a blues rave up.
you can't have fun. What do you like with My Soul? Then what the hell are you doing at a fish show? Like that's the easiest song to have fun with.
Vocal silence
in this spot too was a bold move, and somebody had brought up during the set break hang, which was a lot of fun, that this was the first one since the New Year's show, which was obviously legendary for many other reasons, but
I figured it was going to
straightforward.
close the set.
Yeah, I did too. It was getting late, and then feeling big, but I'm glad that they gave oh sweet. Thanks, Mike. Just gifted 5 memberships. That's awesome. So those of you who just got memberships, come hang out with us tomorrow night at Set Break. You can now that you got the free memberships, you can come join us.
No, I think he gave us the gifts maybe to give to people.
No, just assigned them.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
E, Tim, Bendy, RDNZ, and Mike 881.
Nice.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Welcome.
Yeah.
We love you, Mike.
And then Bowie, without any pomp and circumstance to get us into it, but I felt with a pretty massive ending and a really nice climax. So,
and as we said earlier, in 6 shows, we got 2 antelopes. They were running like every 8 or 9 show, maybe. And in 7 shows, we got 2 Bowies, which was running the same over the last few years. You didn't get many of them, and it feels like they're like, all right, we've bothered to run through these a few times. Let's play them every couple shows. Let's let them get four shots over the summer, over 25 shows or whatever.
Yeah, and these are songs. I remember. Do we have this is deja vu? Damn, Kev. I remember Bowie benefiting last year, last summer tour from getting the higher rotation, and we were by the end of tour, we were like, this really benefited a lot from the few times that they played it. And I don't know. I think the first Bowie is probably a little bit better, but they were both really good in my opinion, and I'm excited to see the next one.
Right. It did have a bit of a little Birds jam in there, Jay. You were absolutely right.
Yeah,
Love
first
it.
set birds was definitely the highlight and
All right,
what made the set.
so if you're looking at last night's first set and tonight's first set, which tape are you taking to your car with you?
I don't know, man. Last night with that llama and the 46 days at the start, and the
Right.
my friend,
The
and
my
the
friend
llama.
is the chef's
Yeah,
kiss.
I'm
And
taking
that's,
last night's first set.
yeah.
I like the birds a lot, so it's hard to say that, but yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that
my
my friend is
friend
worth
alone is taking
right,
it.
worth the price of admission, so to speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, we have a second set, so
Oh,
we have more
well,
to talk
make sure
about.
that you like, subscribe, become a member. You can do that on your PC or your laptop. We'll be here every night, 15 minutes after the encore. And if you're watching later, leave a comment. We've been getting a lot of comments. We love talking to people, engaging, and
Yeah, who is
thank
it?
you.
Alex from the UK. We got some
Mhm.
international love. That was awesome. Also, I was thinking about it, which would be a really big solid is if you got any fishy friends that maybe aren't on socials or whatever, or haven't found us yet, and you want to like spread the word, let them know. We love building up the community and talking
5K
stuff
by
like everybody.
Mondegreen. That's right. That's our mantra.
Oh yeah. I thought he was saying we're running the 5K at Montegreen, and I was like,
No.
I was like, fuck that, Savvy.
No, so
But no,
you want
you're
to hear I got a plan for that. I'm going to
all right. Let's.
find out where the end is, right? The finish
Yeah.
line. And when people start running up, like the first people to finish, I'm going to hop out of the crowd and just run across. Like I
Can we give you
ran
the
the whole
Wook
thing.
Plus flag to just like pull over your head as you're crossing? Be like champion, like
It would be like he jumped out of the crowd, man.
Rate 5K, and I will walk at a fast pace to 5K.
Oh,
I don't
no
know if
way
I'm
I could
running
do that.
5K.
I would, they would be calling an ambulance for me.
Yeah, same thing. Me too. All right, let's get into the second set. This second set was the bee's knees, as the kids say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got a pretty solid Sigma to kick things off, but I think right from the bat, the band knew, and we all knew. Oh, I got to give credit to somebody. I don't know who did it, but someone in the member chat called out Simple for the 2 spot and called out a Lifeboy and an Esther. I don't know if it was the same person that did all three, but there's some smart people in that member hang because like pretty much this whole set was predicted. But yeah, I mean, after a pretty straightforward Sigma Oasis, we get into the jam of the year. So, well, maybe not the year, but certainly of the tour with the Simple.
Right.
I was like thinking about the Mexico Zero. I was like, or Chalk Dust. I was like, yeah.
Are we even going to mention Sigma?
I
It
did.
was
I said it was
there.
a straightforward, solid Sigma that got us into. I mean, is that what else do you want to say?
Right. This simple, man. So I was thinking you had the chalk dust that you mentioned, the down with disease from the sphere, another 40 some minute thing. And now you have the simple. And I think out of the three, even though this didn't get dark and as interesting as the last 10 minutes of the chalk dust, I felt that this was 40 minutes that was really well spent.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think this was some of the more interesting and I don't want to sound too pretentious or whatever, but like it felt like evolved or sophisticated. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just like a simple groove. Like there was a lot of modulations, there was a lot of like melodic tonal play, there were rhythmic modulations and
Yeah,
playing with the
at
groove.
least five or six distinct parts to it.
Right, and it wasn't too derivative or cliche or too like, oh, this is how Fish jams now, right? Because like occasionally they go into a jam and you're like, oh yeah, that's the whatever, that's a
Right.
No Man's jam or a Blazon jam, like or a simple jam, right? A lot of times the simples have like very simple type jams, but this was a very sophisticated, like interesting, like it was like, for example, I'll give you an example. It was bleepish and bloopish at one point, but it wasn't the bleeps and bloops, right? You've heard the bleeps and bloops. That's become overdone. This was like the next level of that, where they had some synths in there and playing with the sounds without making it sound exactly like the 5 other jams that they did exactly like that.
And they finished it. Now, do we have to go back and make all the other simples unfinished. The fact that they found their way back and actually closed the song out, which I love. It was pretty cool that they did that after all that time to find their way back and land it gently.
And like we all knew, or at least I did, because I'm on Couchstar and I'm not spun. Like I knew it was simple the whole time. But if I were there and like I've been in this position many times, this is definitely a jam that you lose yourself in and you look to your buddy like, what are we in?
Right.
And so those are the jams where I actually like bringing it to the head, bringing it back up top and being like, oh shit. Like, when you have that communal realization that you were like, fuck, Yeah, it was great. I wanted to kind of listen to this one again. I was taking notes as as it was going through, but a couple of notes, but it was this is one that I definitely need to listen to, again, maybe a couple more times.
Right. Now I feel like once it was over, they all kind of looked at each other for a second and were like, wow, that was neat. And they went into the Howling, and the Howling just never quite caught on because I think they were still in the glow of the simple.
Oh, damn, Kev. We got some disagreements tonight. I thought maybe it's just I was so happy and in the afterglow of the simple, but I thought the Howling was like a fucking locked in dancey groove right off the rip. And like even like sitting here, I was fucking like I felt the movement. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to get up and move because that groove was so locked in. It wasn't the most intricate or complicated thing ever, but it had the touch. Is how I describe it. Like when I'm playing, it's like if the groove has the touch, that's what you're looking for. I disagree. I think it was locked in. It didn't do anything, but the groove itself was all I wanted out of it.
Right. I would have much rather had the Wave of Hope after, because the jam and Wave of Hope began to call back some of what they were playing with in simple. And it was short,
and I think that still works though. It just with the minor interlude in between, just to dance it off. That's all it was.
Weird. It was just
callback still work.
Right. Listening to it, they were having fun. The audience was. It was just it's that weird to me. That's all.
Yeah. No, I mean
Wave of Hope. Wave of Hope is like, I think Wave of Hope is going to be. This is going to be its length from now on, a 14, 15-minute kind of thing, and you're not going to be getting the huge longer ones anymore with all the addition of all the other songs like Oblivions and things like that. But I really like this Wave of Hope. I thought that it was perfect where it found itself at the end.
I think with PHiSH, any song has the potential to go long, but if you're looking at averages, you're probably right? Like Ruby Waves, for example, I think still averages on the mega side, right? Like that, you're more likely to get a 20 plus with Ruby than I think you will be with Wave of Hope. I think these will largely live. But I'm not going to go out and say that it's never going to go.
Oh long. Yeah, no, it'll have its moment again. Yeah. I love that it landed in Lifeboy. The Lifeboy is such a beautiful, gentle, lilting song, and probably top 5 for me of the slow song that you're going to get.
Yeah, I love that line about not getting a refund too if you overpray. I think that's one of the best lines they have. Yeah, I mean, besides my first reaction was like, I think it was Mike in Mike Scriven in the member hang, but my first reaction was like, oh shit, like the members called this, and I thought that was so neat. But then after that, I was like, man, this is beautiful. Like, what a great way to chill down. The sand was, and I don't know why I thought this, because like I have no reason to think it, but I didn't expect them to give us another jam. Like I thought after Lifeboy we would get like a Hood or maybe a couple, like a 3-piece of like fast rockers. But like to actually get, I mean, it wasn't fully taken out, but it was like an embarrassment of riches. Like it was almost like too much to get another after the Wave of Hope, after that simple, to then give us a sand jam. I was like, you know what I mean? Like it was very rich. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Good call. I thought it was going to end the set there.
Yeah, I'm glad they gave us the Golgi though. That was I think an odd choice in my mind.
Right? Can I answer Joshua? He said something about Wave of Hope there is already a bliss jam. This is true, and I think that the cool thing with that is like tonight Trey got into a whole groove thing. He was playing rhythm. He wasn't just doing the hose, which left the rest of the band a lot more room to find a pocket. And I really dig that. It's Grateful Dead-y to me. Like when the Grateful Dead would hit a groove and it was just a dance groove. It was simple. You didn't have to think much about it. So
That's what I liked about the Howling. It was just a dance groove. I'm gonna answer Bill's question. He's asking if Alpine logs another fish monster. So if this were when was Ruby Waves 19?
yes.
I feel like if we were in 18, 19, I 100% would say the Alpine Simple would be like on everybody's lips. I mean, maybe this is too bold to say. I'm not certain that we're not going to get another one or two 40-minute jams this tour. Maybe
we at Mondegreen, some song at Mondegreen is going to go and push the limits. Definitely.
And I feel like and they keep getting more intricate and more experimental and pushing the boundaries. So I think there are certainly people there tonight are going to be talking about the Alpine Simple, and I think we'll probably have it in mind. I just don't know that it has the same, like, the Tahoe Tweezer and the Alpine Ruby Waves. They were one in a year, right? Maybe one in a couple of years at the time. I feel like now we've just been getting so many of these just very high level jams. I don't know. It clouds it up a little bit, but
yeah,
it was real. I think it warrants it though. I think it was as good. And I mean, I hate saying this the night of, but I think it's on the same level as the Ruby Waves.
Yeah, those instant reactions come back.
I know.
Sometimes.
Somebody's gonna clip this shit and give me crap about it in a year.
But you know what? When they don't come back to haunt you and you nail it, you look good.
Simple's just such a great jam vehicle.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, Golgi,
good though. Golgi.
Did you think that was a weird choice?
No, it's the set closer, big rock and roll Saturday night. It's their one more Saturday night.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just wasn't expecting it. It kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but that's fine. It was good.
It was good. Esther is a
Wait, is Mike coming in with another 5 gifts? Thank you.
He did.
God damn. Really appreciate it, man. That's awesome.
Esther,
he just wants to pump up the member hangs. He wants to get a bunch of people hanging out with us tomorrow.
We can have a wild time.
Yeah,
I really like Esther as an encore.
Yeah.
That's where I think it should live. Not in the middle of the first set, or God help me, in the middle of the second set. With Kid Rock.
Definitely not in the second set. I agree with you. I think it worked perfectly here. And it's cool. There's been a lot of respect paid. They probably do this every year, whatever. Maybe I'm just now finally paying attention to it. Maybe it's also because we're doing all the historic shit and like looking back. But I feel like they're really paying homage, and the whole practicing and like getting shit down right. Like it just feels so good.
I never realized before tonight, which is crazy, that Trey doesn't play guitar in the beginning of Esther when he's singing the first verses.
Well, yeah, that's because it's all creepy organ.
I know, and it never dawned on me. All these years, it never dawned on me.
That organ is the most haunting fucking sound on earth. Like what is that? Like the haunted house circus
carnival,
music,
yeah.
Like
the calliope. The calliope.
If you're not careful, that shit will give you like hardcore nightmares.
Right.
You do not want to be catching that on the head full in the wrong mindset, but
that character zero, completely different from the first night.
Yeah. I think it was the perfect way to end the night, though. Holy shit, right?
Yeah, people laugh. People are like, oh, character zero. But again, it's a big rock and roll song. It's the way you leave the people wanting more. They walk out pumped up and they show up the next night because.
Do people laugh at zero? I'm getting like self-conscious.
Somebody tweeted the way to ruin a show or something to that effect.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. People are so like fucking proud of themselves and they're still like, it's a fucking rocker. Like, why do you gotta be the dick that's like, oh, I'm too cool to like zero? Like, it's fucking Fish. Like, come on.
And it's got a cool little lyric and
yeah. All right. Well, I will be the the crappy fan who actually enjoys, you know, a rocking zero to end the show. Like, who cares? It's the last 4 or 5 minutes. You know, it's big. Get your climax. You walk out. Everything's good.
Right. Real quick, I'm going to go Alpine 1, Mansfield 3, I guess, and then tonight for the top 3 so far.
Oh, man. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to get back to you tomorrow during the member hang.
All right.
That is hard. I'm going simple overall, though, for jams.
Right.
I think you might be right for shows. I'm going to think about it and get back to you, but I'm going to say, I'm going to take the easy take and say that simple jam.
Right.
That was the jam of tour so far.
Is that just a jot? The jam of the tour?
I don't know. Or John. I'm so glad we don't do that shit. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you guys tomorrow.
Become a member and you can hang.
Later.